That's a lot of clocks.
Well, what constitutes a lot is really a matter of personal taste. For me, it's a perfect amount of clocks. Oh, sorry, there's a deranged cuckoo in there.
Your ratchet wheel's shot and the click spring's not far behind. Hello. You're Lewis, I presume. How was your trip?
This old hag is my next-door neighbor, Mrs. Florence Zimmerman.
I'm relieved to see you didn't inherit your uncle's freakishly oversized head.
Huh, says the woman who literally looks like a Q-tip.
Oh, look. The giant head is angry.
Okay, so that's a clip from The House with a Clock in Its Walls. Cate Blanchett and Jack Black are here. Hello, Kate.
Hi.
Hello, Jack.
How do you do?
How are you sounding in your headphones? You sounding okay?
I sound really good in the cans.
I
should
sound like Jack Black.
I'm going to get a little closer. Yeah, there we go.
You need to work it a little bit closer. Take away the reverb from the room. That's what we're doing. Okay, so I'm describing this as a Gothic kids movie. Can you do better than that?
That's pretty good. I like that.
Okay.
I'm going to start saying that.
Yeah, we're going to use that.
So explain what this house is and where you guys fit within the house.
It's a magical house that is a living creature and character in the movie, and its name is House.
It's got first billing.
That's right. It's right. The House. That's how we started off. It's a world of witchcraft and warlockery, if that's a word. And this kid is thrust into this situation where now his new parents.
His parents have died, so he's what's called an orphan.
That's right. And he's placed under the care of this witch and warlock who love and care for him and do their best to raise him like a young magical boy that he is.
While they're trying to find a doomsday clock that's been hidden inside the house.
Oh, yeah.
By a warlock turned bad, who's been a mentor to Jack's character, who thinks that the human race is a despicable creation and wants to eradicate it by turning the time backwards.
That's The House with a Clock in Its Walls. And you, Jack, are Jonathan Barnevelt, and Kate, you're Mrs. Zimmerman. Okay.
Florence, you may call me Florence.
Okay, Florence, but you're often referred to as Mrs. Zimmerman, so Mrs. E. So anyway, so you're Florence and Jonathan, and you're kind of neighbours. So explain, because a lot of the comedy and a lot of the fun and attitude of the film comes from your relationship, which is unusual. Can you just explain a bit about how you guys fit into this story?
Yeah, the George and Martha of the wizarding world.
Yeah, we're best friends. We're besties. And we're also sort of worst enemies in a way. It's a love-hate relationship. It's very brother-sisterly.
Well, because what makes the film really have a pathos to it is that there's a lot of grief behind each of the characters, and they understand each other's pasts, which are sort of complicated and painful, and their relationship to their own magic is quite sort of ambivalent. Like Florence's magic is broken, and there's a sort of an inference that she's a Holocaust survivor, and Jack is sort of the black swan of his family. And then this little orphan boy who's also an outcast, who's a sort of the nerd at school that no one wants to play basketball with. So they're all kind of misfits, and they have to, in a way, encourage one another to find the best part of their weird magic.
It just occurs to me that, so this is a young boy, about 11, 12 years old. He doesn't realise he's magic, and then he's acquiring his magic powers in your house. This story is not post-Harry Potter. This is pre-Harry Potter. This is 1973.
Yeah, there's a lot of influences brought to bear on something like Harry Potter. You think about the work of Ursula Le Guin or Roald Dahl or Bellairs, who wrote this book. And you can tell that that's all the textures that J.K. Rowling was... obviously herself has been brought up with. When I knew the books from when I was at school.
You knew
yeah,
the books,
I'd read the first book. I didn't recall it, actually, I think, because the influence has been absorbed by a lot of other writers. But he's an orphan boy with magical powers. But I think what makes this unique is it's a family unit. And so none of the magic is quite working how it should.
Can you explain this? There's a reason I want to ask. Who is this movie aimed at? Is it a kids' movie? Is it a family movie? How would you describe that?
It's a kids' movie, and it's got a dark sense of humor. It's worthwhile to bring up that in the original source material, the book was illustrated by Edward Gorey. And if you're familiar with his work, like Alpha Gorey and some of those books that he wrote and illustrated, they're funny and dark.
Creepy.
and sort of brilliantly put together. And I think that speaks to the aesthetic and the tone of this movie. It's very Edward Gorey.
But what's great about it too is it speaks to the classic Amblin film, you know, the E.T. and the Gremlins and
Amblin, they've produced it. And
yes, and, you know, and they really wanted to bring. For me, you know, I've got 4 kids, and I love going to see those films with my children that have genuine danger, that have sentiment but are not sentimental. So, you know, it's great to see the character of Lewis actually navigate really difficult terrain, adult terrain.
And this is where I say this is directed by Eli Roth. So
That's
King
right.
of horror.
that's kind of what you need to know. So it's all of the things that you've just said, Kate, whilst people know that Eli Roth, he doesn't just make horror movies, he makes very adult horror movies.
Yes, but there's
Right.
no decapitation.
No, there's no blood. It's Eli Roth light in that respect. But what I was thinking while you were just talking about the sentimentality, like it'll almost get sweet, and then suddenly a griffin topiary lion will burst out a little explosion of
Topiary poop.
yeah, and take that.
Yeah, it's
that
it's
sweetness.
quirky.
It's quirky, and
yeah.
it's Gremlins and it's Goonies, and there are all those references. But the scary stuff is properly scary. I mean, hopefully from your point of view, in a way that kids love to be scared.
Yeah.
I think you said, Jack, once about Goosebumps, scary in the right amounts.
That's right.
That's the balance you need to get.
But it's also the world's quite a scary place. You know, I think kids at the dinner table are hearing their parents have quite sort of doomsday-esque conversations about the state of the world at the moment. I think it's embracing the fact that we're living in strange and freakish, uncharted waters. But obviously, it's not political. It's highly, magical. But it has that sense of dread, I think, that a lot of people in the world are feeling right now.
Yeah, I think that's why kids like those kind of scary movies, is that it helps them to process their own fears in the world. Like my kids are super hyper aware of the environment, and they forced me to buy an electric car. I wouldn't have done it if it weren't for my boys saying, wait, no, you can't just buy a gas-guzzling car. Now you have to, because they're thinking about it. You know, the next generation has all these things on the mind, and so I think that's also why they like the scary movies, is that it helps them to build up their own sort of bravery muscles for the world, the dark and dangerous world that they live in.
Yeah, they're often more resilient than their parents, and more resourceful. And that's what's fantastic about the film, is you're watching, this wizard and warlock witch and warlock who we play can't solve or find the doomsday clock without Lewis. It's his ingenuity that leads them closer to stopping the thing.
You've both done very successful movies aimed at younger audiences. Do you get a sort of a sixth sense for a script or a movie project that's got the balance right?
Eric Crickby wrote a fantastic adaptation of the book. But for me, it's always the elements that are brought to bear in it. You know, it's the Jack Blacks, it's the Eli Roth, and me, and the production team were extraordinary. John Huntman, who did the sets. It's really the house itself, being on set itself. There's a lot of in-camera magic. It's not just green screen. So there's a kind of a wonderful sort of throwback, old-fashioned quality to it.
Have your kids seen it?
Yeah,
What are they saying?
they loved it. They really loved it. They, I think.
What a relief that is.
Yes, I know. And they would say they are my harshest critics.
Jack, have your kids seen it?
Not yet. My boy sat with me while I did the DVD commentary, but we were kind of talking the entire time, so he wasn't able to
Get a
enjoy
word
it.
in edgeways.
Yeah, he's looking forward to the premiere.
It's worth mentioning, I think, just a reference to, I mean, it's Gothic everywhere, but your outfit, Kate, Mrs. Florence Zimmerman, like everything is purple. You're like Mary Poppins' weird sister.
Yes.
Do you think?
Even my hair. Yes, I don't quite understand the penchant for the purple, but it was definitely her favorite color. I mean, I think, even the cookies would be purple if she would cook them. They are all outsiders. They're all slightly strange in this small, sleepy American 50s town,
Yeah. The penchant for the purple, that's, I like that.
The name of my next album. The name of Jack's next album, actually.
Did you sing at all on this project, Jack? Because you are prone to singing when you're on films. In fact,
No.
when you were using the bathroom a moment ago, there was a lot of music coming out of there.
Yeah,
That's a little personal.
He caught me at a moment.
I
singing.
don't know if I want.
I was
don't know if
singing
the
a
audience
little
is gonna hear this.
Blur. I was going.
Oh, you want to drop a few
Tender
names?
is the night, something is alight. Those aren't the original lyrics. I did a little bit of like whistling and humming, but no, there's no Tenacious D in the soundtrack of this particular film.
Because I would imagine you're fairly irrepressible when it comes to music. Just I've read a number of interviews with your co-stars saying, yes, Jack was singing. Yes, we went in and Jack had done a song for this movie.
Yeah, guilty as charged. I do like to sing. I do like to make music, but no more recording me when I'm in the restroom, please.
Okay, all right, that's fair enough. Although when you came in and we shook hands, my instinct was to do the let's rock today handshake from School of Rock. So I just
That's right.
Anyway, that
But
was
this is radio, and it probably wouldn't translate.
It probably wouldn't, but it worked. It worked for me. And you worked School of Rock, of course. You worked with Richard Linklater twice with that.
That's right.
And also for Bernie. And I think you're working with Richard Linklater next year.
Yes. I'm just following in Jack's footsteps. Every director, you work with Spielberg. I want to work with Spielberg.
Was there any music in your Richard Linklater experience?
The singing, a lot of singing on the set, but not
Right.
that I can recall actually. Oh yes, no, we sang in the car. We did.
He's a musical guy.
He is a musical kind of guy. But Bernie, for your listeners who haven't seen Jack in Bernie, such a heartbreaking performance, such a beautiful film.
Thank you.
There you go. So that's the Richard Linklater experience. And I wonder, Kate, whether direction is something that you would have, as we're talking about a director, would...
I tried to direct Jack, but he just wouldn't listen.
I don't suppose Jack would listen to many people.
No, he doesn't need it.
I would do anything you told me. Are you crazy?
Well, now you tell me. No, I'd love to. It's people often ask why there aren't more female directors, and it's, I have 4 children, and it's a very delicate balance, even just, trying to fit everything into the day. I understand the rhythm of directing theatre perhaps more than I do film. If you have an idea, you can get it up and on, whereas I think you need an exquisite patience to direct a movie, because it's, even if you can have the best idea in the world, it takes an army, and it's not just shooting the thing, it's the pre-production, it's luring everyone into your lair, and then it's post-production, and then it's publicizing it.
You'd be good at all that, though.
It takes a long time. I've got patience. I need patience of the Buddha too.
What do you think, Jack? Would make a good director?
Would I be a good director?
Well, that and Kate. My argument is that Kate would be a fantastic director.
Well,
Wow, you're really plumping for this. Thank you.
yeah.
We had a little talk before the interview began. I said, make sure you get Jack in the bathroom and talk about me directing.
Listen, Kate is an incredible artist. I have no doubt that she would be amazing at directing, and I would jump at the chance. Listen, if you have a role that you think I would be good at, I'm ready. I'm here waiting to be directed by you.
The cogs are turning.
Cate Blanchett and Jack Black, thank you very much. The other great Kate fact is that she once had 2 pigs called Benson and Hedges.
Oh, how did you know that?
I just think it's fantastic.
Benson died of natural causes. I think he knew what was coming.
Yeah. And Hedges?
Oh, unfortunately, he was delicious.
Kate and Jack, thank you so much.
Thank you.